Now tonight on Who Owns Kenya, we continue with our focus on oil and gas exploration with a look at Tullow Oil, which is one of the largest independent oil and gas exploration and production companies in Europe with a portfolio of assets across the globe. Now, according to Aidan Heavey, founder and chief executive officer of Tullow Oil, it all started in a small town called Tullow in County Carlow, Ireland, about 35 miles south of Dublin in the 1980s. Now, Aidan was speaking to a friend one day and they were discussing small oil fields in Africa, which had been abandoned by major exploration companies. Now, seeing an opportunity, a gap, that is where the business concept for Tullow was born. Now, Aidan knew nothing about the oil and gas industry at the time. What's more, he was looking to invest in Africa, perceived as high risk. So very few people expected the idea of Tullow to succeed. Surrounded by skeptics, he pressed on nonetheless. Aidan contacted another friend at the World Bank who told him about a particular project in Senegal. Small gas fields that were looking for developers. And here Tullow Oil was finally actualized. Founded in 1985, it signed its first license in Senegal in 1986. Gas production and sales followed in 1987. Now that year, Tullow listed its shares on the London Stock Exchange and the Irish Stock Exchange. In spite of many challenges, the company grew and Tullow became active in South Asia in the 1990s and in the UK gas market in 2000. Now the company doubled in size in 2004 with the acquisition of Energy Africa. It grew further with the Hardman Resources acquisition in 2006 and completed the largest acquisition to date in 2010. That was of Heritage Oil's Ugandan licenses. In 2007, Tullow made its largest discovery to date, the Jubilee Field offshore Ghana. In Uganda, Tullow has discovered over 1 billion barrels of oil to date in the Lake Albert Basin, and in 2011 signed with SPAS and CNOOC and Total, each now with 1/3 interest across the 3 licenses, and they will embark upon a major development project in the coming years. In 2012, the group made its first onshore discovery in Kenya at Ngamia 1. Today, Tullow Oil is Africa's leading independent oil company with recent basin opening discoveries in Ghana, Uganda, and of course, right here in Kenya. The company's success in West Africa also saw it cross across the Atlantic. That was in 2011 to a related geological opportunity in South America and the discovery of a well in French Guiana, which has unlocked significant exploration potential across the region. However, in Kenya this week, Tullow, of course, faced a temporary shutdown of its operations in Turkana, where, backed by local politicians, demonstrators from Kenya's northern Turkana community marched on the Tullow site, demanding jobs and other benefits. Local populations are understandably anxious for a windfall, but production may still be years away, and such direct action may slow the region's emergence as a significant producer. We'll be watching that space. Now, grievances from the local community erupted into protests around at least 2 of Tullow's drilling sites. They were demanding more jobs and more contracts, but Tullow says more than 800 of its 1,400 employees in its Kenya operations are from the Turkana region. We'll be watching that story. So the big question: who exactly owns Tullow? Now, Tullow has, as we mentioned, primary listing on the London Stock Exchange, and it's a constituent of the FTSE 100 index. It has a market capitalization of approximately £11.1 billion. It has secondary listings on the Ghana Stock Exchange and the Irish Stock Exchange as well. Let's take a look at the breakdown in terms of institutional investors who constitute over 87% of shareholding in the company. Let's take a look now there. You see the institutional investors. In Asia, we have 4.36% representation of institutional investors in Tullow. That's 39 million shares in the company, 4.36% of the company. The rest of the world, a mere 0.32%. 1%. We've actually got to go through the earlier slides, which show the UK, which has the vast majority. I'm just going to look for that for you now. United Kingdom, there we have it now on the screen. 445 million shares, 49.11% institutional investors in the UK. Those are their interests in Tullow. Europe, excluding the UK, 14.38%. That's about 130 million shares. North America, 19.11%, 173 million shares. Let's move on to the next slide again. And there we have it, Asia 4.36, the rest of the world, which includes Africa, where the primary operations of Tullow are located, a mere 0.32%. In fact, it's smaller than that because that is the rest of the world, including Africa and other parts of the world. So food for thought there, a lot of food for thought for us as we look at the ownership of Tullow. Our quote of the week, let's just try and look at the words now, of Colin Powell, who said, "There are no secrets to success. It is the result of preparation, hard work, and learning from failure." Simple.